Daya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya De Shatarine Namo Maha Vadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratashe Namaha Namo Brahmanaya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitai Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jagannath Das Babaji Ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Ki Jai. Sri
Jai.
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Okay, today we'll try to speak a little bit about our relationship with our spiritual master. In the book Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, Srila Prabhupada explains that, yes, the spiritual master, he takes charge of our lives. He, not only does he instruct us, but he actually relieves us of a degree of our sinful reactions. He takes on these sinful reactions so that our Krishna consciousness, our pure spiritual consciousness, is obscured by the influence of material nature, by the influence of our previous activities during so many lifetimes in the material world. The spiritual master takes on these reactions. These reactions are, in fact, what keeps our consciousness covered so that we're not able to understand our relationship with Krishna. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he takes on this responsibility. There are many quotes in this connection to substantiate this, that the spiritual master is willing to relieve us of our reactions, our sinful reactions, so that we have a chance, an opportunity to go forward in Krishna consciousness more unobstructed. So, another aspect of our relationship, so we should be very grateful that he's willing to do such a thing, that he's caring about us to that extent. Another point is that we have to earnestly try to please the spiritual master in order to receive his blessings and the blessings of Krishna. It's not only that he gives us a list of things that we have to do a checklist that of rules and regulations, but we have a personal relationship with him. And when he's pleased, then he blesses us with understanding. Every morning we sing Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasada Yasya Prasada Nakatir Katopi Dayam Stuvam Stasya Yashasrishandam Bande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. That when the spiritual master is pleased, then we receive the blessings of Krishna. Then without the grace of the spiritual master, no one can make any advancement. One in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 34, in his purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, quote, one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. So, in other words, this is a very personal relationship. It's not simply that we're following some instructions, and if we follow the instructions, then we will arrive at our destination. It's not like having some kind of, sometimes people have some kind of hobby where they build a model airplane or something, and then there's some instructions that you put this piece with this piece and you follow this diagram. And if you do everything then nicely, then at the end, you'll have your model airplane. It's a little bit different. In spiritual life, it's not simply that we follow his instructions, but that we have to try very earnestly to give pleasure to the spiritual master, to please him. And when this is a very personal relationship and it is based on a reciprocation of love. When, as is written here in Srila Prabhupada's own words, that one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he blesses the disciple, automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. So this is a relationship. This is a relationship, an exchange that when he's pleased with us, he blesses us with more understanding. This is very wonderful. And therefore, our primary business is to cultivate a sense of this living relationship with him. He's not so much pleased by our activities alone, but he's pleased by our attitude, by our love for him. We have to aspire to live in a very intimate association with our spiritual master. We have to begin to feel his presence. There's one prayer in our songbook where the devotee prays, please let me be with you. The devotee, the disciple is praying that I want to feel your presence. I want to feel your presence in my life. I want to feel your presence in my heart. Please let me be with you. Let me feel that you're with me. And another prayer, the line is, your mercy is all that I'm made of. Means that he maintains us in a spiritual position. He protects us from the influence of illusion. There's another quote in the prayer by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He understands. He's taking the position of a disciple for our guidance, and he's showing that he understands how much we're dependent on a living relationship with our spiritual master, with the bona fide spiritual master. He prays like this. When he understands his propensity to be forgetfulness, to be forgetful, or to be distracted, to forget that we should be living in the association of our spiritual master, to be working under the guidance of our spiritual master, to be living in the association of our spiritual master, and to feel his presence. So he prays that when, oh when, oh when will I hold your lotus feet until the end of time? When, oh when will that day be mine? So we're like that. We begin to understand that we're dependent on the association of the pure devotee to enliven us, to enlighten us. At the same time, habitually, we're independent. Habitually, we don't have this sense of shelter. So we have to begin to hope and wish that we can come to this position. When will I hold your feet? We're praying to Srila Prabhupada that you please give me the intelligence. When, oh when will I hold your feet until the end of time? When, oh when will that day be mine? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, there's one purport where Srila Prabhupada explains the relationship between the disciple and the spiritual master, beginning at the time of initiation. He explained initiation, the word is diksha. He explains the meaning of diksha. The meaning of diksha, Srila Prabhupada explains, is the establishment of a heart-to-heart relationship with the spiritual master. It's the relationship with the spiritual master who always carries Krishna within his heart. If we have a heart-to-heart relationship with such a spiritual master, with such a bona fide spiritual master, then our hearts, if we have a heart-to-heart relationship with a bona fide spiritual master who always carries Krishna in his heart, and in this way, we'll learn how to always have Krishna in our heart. this will be the result. So this is the meaning of initiation or diksha. In other words, it's not a fad or a custom, Srila Prabhupada explains, but it's the beginning of our spiritual education, the beginning of our spiritual upliftment, the beginning of our spiritual liberation from the influence of the illusory energy. Therefore, in our morning prayer, there's the following stanza, Guru Puja prayer. Ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deho More Padachoya. O Master, please be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. So we have to pray like that. We have to ask like that. We have to pray and beseech the spiritual master in order to receive his mercy. We have to ask for it. In our morning prayer to the spiritual master, our Guru Puja prayer, we say, the lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. It's the only way. We have to receive his blessing. In the next, and further on in this same prayer, as we already made mention, O Master, be merciful to me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Then if we go to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, written by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, with purportful commentary by Srila Prabhupada. Every chapter ends with the same verse throughout the whole book. Every chapter. Krishnadas Kaviraj prays. His spiritual, he takes as his spiritual master Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and he prays. He writes, praying at the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. So our hearts should be always hoping for, pining for, desiring Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Please give me your mercy. Praying like that, praying at the lotus feet of Rupa Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. So this is a very, very personal relationship with the personality who can give us this spiritual advancement. In Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja address to his spiritual master before he came to the West many years, Srila Prabhupada spoke. He said, ending his praises, his glorification of his spiritual master, he said, therefore, let us bow down at the lotus feet of our spiritual master with all of the humility at our command, with as much sincerity, with as much humility, with as much as of our a sense how much we are dependent on receiving his mercy. how much we're dependent on receiving his blessing. So, what is it that we're asking for when we're asking for his mercy and his blessing? Actually, we learn from the spiritual master what is Krishna consciousness. We acquire a taste of love of Krishna by following the ecstatic chanting of the pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada explains this in the 18th chapter of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Prabhupada writes, the process is that the spiritual master chants the mantra into the ear of the disciple. And if the disciple chants with equal respect, this becomes the worship of the holy name. And when we chant in this way, the holy name spreads his glories within the heart of the disciple. So let's consider. We hear the heartfelt chanting of our spiritual master, chanting Hare Krishna. And if we really open our hearts to him and try to understand his feeling, and if we chant with the same feeling, this means we're meditating on our spiritual master at the same time as we're chanting, because he's teaching us. He's sharing his feelings with us, his feelings of love of Krishna. If we chant with the same feeling, becomes the worship of the holy name. This is how we worship the holy name. And if we do this, Krishna reciprocates with us by spreading his glories within our hearts. So, in other words, the real spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, is not only giving us conceptual or objective instructions, but he's sharing his heart of devotion with us. And if we can imbibe the taste of his devotion, that it becomes our process of how we cultivate love for Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has one prayer in our songbook. He takes the position of the disciple and he prays to the spiritual master. He says, in this way he's explaining how we can chant with the same feeling as our spiritual master. He says, oh, my spiritual master, I offer you all respect. I offer you all respect, for thus I may have the energy. By offering you all respect, in this way I can acquire the energy by which I can understand your heart, by which I can know you correctly. And then, by chanting the holy name with feelings of ecstasy, all of my offenses will cease. So this is the process again. We have to learn how to be Krishna conscious by meditating on the Krishna consciousness of Krishna's pure devotee. And he says that if I can, but we have to approach him with enough humility that he begins to reveal his heart to us. I offer you all respect, for thus in this way I may acquire the energy by which I can understand you correctly. Then I can chant Hare Krishna. In the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada writes in chapter 12, entitled, The Devotee is the name of this chapter 12. And Srila Prabhupada says, he writes, generally in devotional service, one should accept the following principles. And then he enumerates the principles. Principle number 4 is, number 4, quote, to inquire and to learn love from the spiritual master. To inquire and to learn love from the spiritual master. So this kind of inquiry is not so much intellectual inquiry, but it's asking, please share with me, enable me to understand what is this love of Krishna. Please share it with me. Otherwise, there's no way that I can understand it. So principle number 4 is to inquire and to learn love from the spiritual master. In Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 5th chapter, verse 25, Srila Prabhupada explains that if we meditate very, very sincerely on our spiritual master with an open heart, we become just like if you're in touch with somebody who has a disease like COVID. You can catch COVID from them by intimate association. So Srila Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.25 purport, infection of the qualities of the pure devotee means to imbibe the taste of devotion in the association of the pure devotee. And this taste makes all material tastes unattractive. At the very first beginning of that purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that pure devotional service, pure devotion, is as much infectious, in a good sense, as an infectious disease. It's as infectious as an infectious disease, but this kind of infection is a very good infection. In a good sense, pure devotion is as much infectious as an infectious disease. And he explains that infection of the qualities of the pure devotee means to imbibe the taste or the flavor, the feeling of that devotion in the association of a pure devotee. And Srila Prabhupada writes, in this way, one becomes steady. One begins to have spiritual feeling. And at last one is situated on the platform of love of Krishna. And all of these stages, Srila Prabhupada writes, develop in the association of the pure devotee. So this is a very intimate process of becoming like an understudy, an apprentice in a sense, of working under the guidance and engaging in Krishna consciousness under the intimate guidance of Krishna's pure devotee, under the direction, in the association. This means that when we're engaging in Krishna conscious activities, we're in the company of our spiritual master who's sharing his feelings of Krishna consciousness with us. The Krishna consciousness is not simply, in other words, not simply a list of activities, but it's a kind of consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada is sharing his Krishna consciousness with us. In that, again, there's different kinds of instruction, in other words. Srila Prabhupada explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita, first chapter of Adi Lila, verse 47 purport, that there's two kinds of instruction. There's objective instruction and there's subjective instruction. Objective instruction is concepts, what we call sambandha. And this is theory, the concepts, the theory, the philosophy of what is that I'm not this body, I'm a spiritual substance, I'm an individual spirit soul, I'm part and parcel of Krishna. My constitutional position is that my constitutional position as spirit soul, just like if you live in a country, the country has a constitution. The rules and the duties and the obligations and by which one lives within that country. It's a constitution. We have a constitutional relationship with the country in which we live. At the same way, we have a constitutional relationship with God. A constitutional relationship with Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada says, that this process of subjective and objective instruction is like for giving us this framework, this philosophy. It's an orientation, but it's not all the instruction that we receive from the spiritual master. He says there's a different, this is called objective instruction. Srila Prabhupada says there's something called subjective instruction. Subjective means feelings, emotions. So Srila Prabhupada says, we receive subjective instruction from the pure devotee who is engaged in deep devotional meditation on Krishna within his heart. When we associate with such a pure devotee, we can, and if we're submissive and receptive, and have an ardent desire to understand him, then we can imbibe the taste of his devotion. And this is the meaning of subjective instruction. In the Krishna book, chapter 34, entitled The Gopis' Feelings of Separation. In Vrindavan, Krishna has a relationship with the gopis, the cowherd girls. They're young girls, and they all love Krishna very much. And when they to the pasture lands, to the forest with the cows, they feel separate from Krishna, and they're always thinking of him with great feelings of love. And they're worried, actually, in their hearts. They're thinking, oh, Krishna's going barefoot and his feet are so soft. And maybe he'll be stepping on pebbles as he walks through the meadows. And that thought gives them kind of anguish in their heart. So Srila Prabhupada explains that the spiritual master enriches the disciple with conjugal feelings of love of Krishna in the mood of separation, feelings of love for Krishna in the mood of the gopis with feelings of separation. The following sentences I've extracted from the first two paragraphs of this chapter 34 in the Krishna book, entitled The Gopis' Feelings of Separation. Srila Prabhupada says, quote, devotional service to Krishna in feelings of separation elevates the devotee to the highest perfectional level, to the level of the gopis. Here's another quote. When Lord Chaitanya was at Jagannath Puri, he was in the role of Radharani, feeling the separation of Krishna. These are direct quotes from chapter 34. Then he says, another quote, the 6 Goswamis were so much enriched with the gopis' feelings of separation that they enjoyed transcendental pleasure at every moment. And here's another quote. When we are not in physical contact with Krishna, we can associate with him like the gopis through feelings of separation. And then another quote, feeling constant separation while engaged in the service of the Lord is the perfection of this Krishna consciousness. So, of course, we can't pretend, but if we continue to read our Krishna book, our Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll gradually become to understand what is real Krishna consciousness. The Prabhupada writes, to acquire this strong feeling of separation, this is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya and his direct disciplic succession of Goswamis Those who are in the disciplic succession of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya should also feel the separation of Krishna. So how do we come to develop these feelings within our own hearts? So Srila Prabhupada writes in this chapter 34, the spiritual master should enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. So he has the potency to enrich us. Just like you have, sometimes you buy some product at the store, like flour for making bread or flour for making chapatis, but it's not, it's enriched. What is it? It means there's a special ingredient that has been added to the flour. In the same way, the spiritual master enriches us. He imparts to us this special ingredient, this feeling of Krishna consciousness. There are many things, Srila Prabhupada writes, which hinder one from entering devotional service. Oh, we have so many desires in our heart for other things. We're forgetful, we're distracted, we're fruitive, we're concerned about success and failure, gain and loss, victory and defeat. We're concerned about how other people talk to us and think of us and what is our social position. We have so many things. So Srila Prabhupada writes, there are many things which hinder at one from entering into devotional service. But by the association of pure devotee, all these obstacles are removed. This is in 1.5.25 of Srimad Bhagavatam. How are these obstacles removed? Srila Prabhupada explains, the neophyte devotee becomes practically enriched with the transcendental qualities of the pure devotee. Infection of the qualities of the pure devotee means to imbibe the taste of pure devotion. And this transcendental taste at once makes all material things distasteful. This is a direct quote. So this is how we become free of the things which hinder us from entering into devotional service. That we get the taste of his devotion and all of the other all of the other desires and preoccupations are automatically removed. It's like if you go into a dark room and you turn on the light switch, as soon as the light comes on, the darkness is gone. In the same way, as soon as we have imbibed the taste of devotion in the association of Krishna's pure devotee, in the association of the real spiritual master, all of our darkness, all of our material desires evaporate. And that's how we become enriched. Then there's something we have to understand, that the pure devotee is coming to share his heart with us. Srila Prabhupada writes that this diksha or initiation is the beginning of a heart-to-heart relationship. He says that the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple is very intimate. He sometimes uses the word thick. It's a very thick relationship. So There are different kinds of offenses. There are things we can do which can break that relationship. So it's written that there are 10 offenses that that impede our ability. They're called offenses against the holy name. They impede our ability to understand that Krishna is present in the sound vibration of the holy name. That Krishna is present in the sound vibration. When an advanced devotee chants the holy name and hears that sound vibration, there's like a, Srila Prabhupada explains, there's like a television in the heart, a monitor. And the pastimes of Krishna become visible on that television monitor within the heart. This is the power. Therefore, we learn, we're instructed that there's no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name. So this is why chanting Hare Krishna is the process of spiritual enlightenment in this age of Kali Yuga. That gradually, by becoming purified, by chanting the holy name, we will be able to see, have full realization of Krishna's presence in that sound vibration and enter into Krishna's pastimes that we see is not only like watching, it's interactive. It's like a video game in which we actually enter into the Krishna's pastimes by seeing these pastimes within our heart. So this is the worship of the holy name. This is what Krishna conscious to for the enhancement of our Krishna consciousness. We're already conscious, but we're not so much Krishna conscious. So we're trying to cultivate Krishna consciousness. So how to cultivate that Krishna consciousness? So we have to be very careful in chanting the holy name. So the first and largest and most important offense that we can do in chant, again, that will impede our ability to realize Krishna and Krishna's name are one and the same, is to offenses at the lotus feet of the pure devotee. Offense at the lotus feet of our spiritual master is called the mad elephant offense. It's like an elephant if you have a very nice garden with all kinds of beautiful flowers growing and all kinds of beautiful vegetables growing. If a mad elephant runs through your garden, completely destroying and uprooting everything, that's a mad elephant. So to offend our spiritual master is like a mad elephant uprooting our devotional creeper. So that some examples of what can be done as a mad elephant offense. For example, when Srila Prabhupada was walking among us, and there's so much recordings on audio and in written form that do not change, do not change, do not change a word of my books, but they've made thousands, literally thousands of changes to his books. This is a terrible offense. This is what ISKCON has done. And that, therefore, ISKCON is the greatest offender. Another one is that Srila Prabhupada has given us, and there's so much written, letters of Srila Prabhupada to his disciples and instructions that we cannot approach Krishna directly. To render service to Krishna, we render service to Krishna under the guidance through our spiritual master. Therefore, he said, when we're offering our foodstuff to Krishna on the altar, we cannot give our foodstuff to Krishna, because Krishna only accepts the love with which things are offered to him. And the spiritual master, being Krishna's pure devotee, he has this love. And so we offer our food preparations to our spiritual master, who offers to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya offers to Radha and Krishna. But in ISKCON, they've completely changed this upside down, and they've decided that they cannot offer to the spiritual master first. They have to offer to Krishna first. But we're instructed that we're not in a position to offer to Krishna. We can only offer through our spiritual master. This means that the foodstuffs that is being eaten by all of the devotees in ISKCON today is not really prasadam. It's never reaching Krishna, because it can only reach Krishna when it's given to Krishna through our spiritual master. So this is a second offense, a terrible offense that has cut the whole of ISKCON off from Krishna. These are complete disrespect for the instructions of the pure devotee coming in the line of disciplic succession from Lord Chaitanya. Complete disrespect is mad elephant offense.
Can I ask you a question on that? Because
Yeah.
I'm hearing it from a few different places nowadays. But I mean, personally, I have a lot of contacts and friends within ISKCON and different ISKCON temples. And what I know they do, and what I see them do, what they tell me they do, is the same offering process, but originally we would just go into Prabhupada and having a picture of Prabhupada. So now they have their own picture of their gurus, and they offer to their guru first, then to Prabhupada, and then all the way up to Krishna. I've never heard.
That's very different from a letter that we have on my computer that where they have done research. I don't remember the name of the devotee, but if they're doing that, that's very good. If they're offering to Srila Prabhupada first. So, but then it comes to the question of their guru. The third offense, the terrible offense, is explained in our books again and again, that the spiritual master must be a Mahabhagavata devotee, a pure devotee who has come down from the spiritual world. He's empowered. Shaktyavesh avatar means he's empowered by Krishna to be a spiritual master, to be the link between us and Krishna. And that in Srila Prabhupada's will, which can be found online, for instance, Srila Prabhupada explains that members of the GBC, they can be added when there's need. If a disciple leaves his body, and new members of the GBC can be appointed or voted in, this is all right. But Srila Prabhupada stipulates, but the only caveat is that these new GBC members, they must be my personal initiated devotees. This is in Srila Prabhupada's will. Now, if new devotees are not being initiated by Srila Prabhupada, but they're being initiated by other men, then there can be no longer any more GBC. So this is, in other words, to remove Srila Prabhupada as the Diksha Guru. There are other quotes where Srila Prabhupada says, all of my disciples, they should be Siksha Gurus. They should be instructing others, but that I am the Diksha Guru. So for devotees who are wanting to usurp, to take the position of Diksha Guru, is the most terrible offense. It's the greatest insult to Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee. Krishna will never tolerate such a thing. Therefore, ISKCON is described for a very good reason in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that as the disciplic succession is coming down, and there are different groups coming off of that disciplic succession, they're like limbs on the tree, like branches on the tree. And it says that this branch is dead, and this branch is dead, and this branch is dead, because they have broken the understanding. They've broken the instructions. They've gone in their own way. In this way, ISKCON is now a dead branch of the Chaitanya tree.
Can I ask you a question on that point?
You can ask, but I will shout that ISKCON is now dead, and to associate with these people is to be contaminated. One may want to, you can never bring ISKCON back to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, because they don't want to. Even Tamal Krishna has given a speech when he relented at some time in that canyon in California, that Topanga Canyon, and it's recorded that Srila Prabhupada never instructed us to become gurus. Never. And they all did. And they're all going to hell. So what is the question? That they have a chance to leave the material world, the cycle of birth and death, but they have this great desire to be a guru. And when they're all neophyte devotees, they're not even madhyamadikari. They're still conditioned souls. They identify with the material body and mind as me. So many of them are falling down. Then they create that the pure devotee can sometimes fall down. A pure devotee never falls down. They're simply offenders. And people are attracted to them because they're not sincere. Srila Prabhupada explains in his writings in Srimad Bhagavatam that the ability to recognize the real devotee is given by Krishna in the heart, and the ability to be attracted to nonsense leaders is because Krishna gives them that ability, because he knows that they're not really sincere. Therefore, there are new devotees, second and third generation devotees who have read Srila Prabhupada's books, and they have left ISKCON because they can see that this is a nonsense organization, a deviant, offensive organization. But if you wanted to say something or raise a question,
Yes, please, Prabhu.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm highly against such a position and a view. I'll start with that clearly. And I've heard many devotees and groups come from that position. And to just go back to what you were saying earlier was that Diksha actually means relationship. So Diksha is not a ceremony. And it's not a 1 hour thing or a 5 minute thing that makes you a disciple of this one or that one. It's a relationship. So I clearly, in my own personal experience, and I see this in other people also, that I would say everybody in ISKCON, in fact, everybody that's reading a Prabhupada book anywhere in the world has a relationship with Prabhupada, is having a relationship with Prabhupada, because that's what happens. That when you read and follow the instructions of somebody, some kind of relationship is started from a very superficial thing to a more deeper, more serious, more serious. So the fact that there are a few, this clearly I want to say that there are a few people who at some stage in their consciousness or life get attracted to becoming a guru, get attracted to competing with Prabhupada and Krishna in their position, and get fall victim to their own material desires to be in that guru position, which we know is easily the last snare of Maya. And then they start preaching their way to attain whatever they want. You know, we're not going to classify the whole population of ISKCON and followers of Prabhupada as deviants or rogues or going to hell or this or that, just because, 10 from 100 deviate. But fundamentally, I want to deal with this question that you've spent this nice time in class showing us and teaching us that Diksha is a relationship. And I do, I have seen that regardless of somebody giving a ceremony, 2 hour ceremony to somebody, and even saying, I'm your guru. And let's say even the disciples sometimes fall into illusion and thinking, this is my guru, what they call physical guru, I need a physical guru, whatever. But fundamentally, actually, the biggest and the main relationship is their relationship with Prabhupada. As by the science would have to be there because they're reading Prabhupada's books every day, definitely. They're following Srila Prabhupada's instructions in almost their whole daily life, to wake up from morning, to put on tilak, to distribute books or whatever. So I don't see Srila Prabhupada sitting there and saying, well, it's, somehow you've got an affair there with some other girl, and because of that, I'm just going to reject you completely and you're going to hell. I don't see that.
I just, could I intervene?
Please,
Want to say,
absolutely,
you say they're reading Prabhupada's books, but
absolutely.
the books are not what he wrote anymore. They're not actually reading his words.
Well, of course they are. I mean, Jayadvaita Swami, if you add up all the words that he changed and his team or whoever, probably
Thousands,
you're.
thousands of changes. I was reading Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. It's a different book. Thousands, but it's it's in complete defiance of Srila
Agree.
Prabhupada's order.
That's a great.
How dare he change one word when Srila Prabhupada, how dare other people want to take such a person as their teacher, somebody who's an insult, a living insult to Srila Prabhupada?
The thing is, the changes are, they're very important changes in those books that are fundamental to what the new devotee, is understanding.
Yeah, if you take 434, Srila Prabhupada says that the process is that one take tadvidi pranipatena, you find a spiritual master who is tattva darshanaha, who has the darshan of the absolute truth, the tattva, and you surrender unto him. And Jai Advaita has changed it from spiritual master. He made it plural. He changed Srila Prabhupada's words on that issue, and as if these people are they don't know the absolute truth. They cannot introduce anyone to the absolute truth. Why he makes such a change? Because he wants them. I have seen videos of people pouring milk on these nonsense people's feet and drinking it. I've seen this on it's on the web. Why would anyone want even have the just the slightest thought that someone is worshiping me? He said, no, how, not me. I don't know anything. I'm just trying to become a devotee of my spiritual master. All of your love should be towards Srila Prabhupada. Why do these people, as soon as Srila Prabhupada departed, they put all these Vyasa-sans. Gopal Krishna, you can see him online sitting on a Vyasa-san that's 5 times as large as Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa-san that's beside him. What is he thinking about? What are they thinking about? It's pure envy, to covet, to usurp the position like that. It's just but
Yes,
if person,
I,
why would one not see it that way?
I fully agree with everything that you've said regarding a few people being victimized by their own material desires.
But the people who are following these people,
And now that's the point I want to come to.
why are they following these people?
There's many reasons, and many different people have different answers for that, let's say. But I do see this very clearly, is that regardless of what this leader or that leader may say about himself, think about himself, the main relationship in every devotee and disciple and member of ISKCON, the main relationship is actually the relationship with Prabhupada. If we look at what makes up fundamentally of what they hear and what they follow, it is Srila Prabhupada. And I can put myself forward as an example of this, that I joined in 1995. And by 1998, I accepted Prabhupada as my only Diksha Guru. But in the meantime, the way I came through, I read the books that they have now, even though with the changes or whatever, still from day one, I mean, I came in contact with Krishna consciousness reading the Science of Self-Realization in Turkey in a caravan where I never ever knew any devotee before this, never heard the Hare Krishna mantra before that, nothing. And in one day, that book, Srila Prabhupada, in those words, convinced me to surrender and give up and become his disciple. I mean, which I did without knowing it, let's say. And then later on, when you come to ISKCON, then ISKCON say to you, oh, you have to take initiation from this one or that one. Okay. So my focus really here is not on those who take the guru position, but on the members what relationship is the biggest one? Whose words do they mainly follow? What relationship do they mainly develop with? And what's happening there with them?
I understand your position. I do, and I'm not very intelligent or adept, but they're following people who are supporting this kind of violence. They're following a GBC that's supporting and appointing these gurus. They're following a GBC that's supporting the changes of Srila Prabhupada's books, who when Srila Prabhupada said not to change one word. They're following a GBC that's changing the deity worship program. You see, why would one want to have anything to do with such people?
So you state that they are following, they are following, they are following.
They
I
are
don't hear.
following.
Okay, the correct. And I don't hear from you the other side of this, the other
What?
side of the coin, which is they are following Srila Prabhupada.
They're not following Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, good. Then who told me to wake up at 4 a.m. or 3:30 a.m.?
I understand your position, but I can't agree with it. I won't have
That's okay.
anything. I,
It's
I
okay.
understand your position. I don't have the intelligence how to what's the word, make these very fine distinctions. But but Srila Prabhupada is the one who has come from the spiritual world. Why would they step in and want to be in front of him? That I have to give you initiation. Why would they do such a thing?
Same reason they came to this material world, to be Krishna. That's clear.
Right. So what do we, so we're supposed to be giving that up and not bringing it. People express this envy of Krishna through business and finance world. They do it through the politics world. Everyone wants to be great, or through the sports world, to be the greatest businessman, to be the greatest sportsman, to be the greatest politician.
To be the greatest teacher, leader, guru. That's in ISKCON also.
It's the same disease.
Exactly.
But if it's being done by the leaders, they're an example of what we're not supposed to be. Why associate with that, such a thing?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. But like I said, you're talking about the leaders and their motive and their position and their consciousness. Okay, I fully agree with you everything on that. But my point of view that I want to see is ISKCON is not made up of these people. ISKCON is led by these few, agreed, but it's made up by a huge population of devotees that are fundamentally, foundationally following actually and having a relationship, even though they may not be conscious of it, with Prabhupada. I mean, if you ask me now, I was initiated by Harikesh Swami, so-called initiated. And if you ask me now, okay, in that time you were his disciple, so-called disciple, how much of his words or his voice did you associate with and how much of Prabhupada? I would say probably about 5%. Harikesh, or in somebody else's example, Gopal Krishna Maharaj or Radhanath Swami. And actually, about 90% would be Prabhupada. So, I mean, just that hearing and just that following that instruction means relationship, means Prabhupada is having a relationship with these people. Now, I agree with everything you're saying. I'm sure we can make it much better, and sure we got to get these people that are coming between us and Prabhupada out of the way. We already agree with that. But to say and to think that ISKCON is a dead branch, well, I would like to say to people that if ISKCON is a dead branch, and I see symptoms and I see, I see symptoms of not a dead branch, then that should make Prabhupada Nuga Lines or Prabhupada Nuga Group some superhuman group where there should be superhuman devotees jumping out like everywhere, but I don't see it at all. I see the same production of the same kind of devotee, even sometimes worse, and the leaders are also questionable. So I mean, I'm just saying, if ISKCON is a dead tree, then there's no living tree anyway. Because if there was, I would have to see the symptom of that and see that somebody's like 10 times better than the general ISKCON devotees that I know. So I mean, I do say, and I want to give credit to Prabhupada because I'm saying he is there. he is having a relationship. And because he's there and because he's having a relationship, these devotees are becoming purified and making progress. Okay, some of the leaders and some of us still have some material desires that need to be fulfilled or adjusted or whatever. But ISKCON is a dead tree. And what are we then? So Prabhupada Nuga's I mean,
Because as far as I'm concerned, they don't even know the philosophy, but they're calling themselves Prabhupada Nuga. So
yes.
they're not talking about the things we're talking about. But what was I going to say?
One thing that I can say is that if you
Oh yeah,
consider that your relationship is 95% with Prabhupada and 5% with your initiator, then
Well, Prabhupada is the initiator. That's the main thing. Whether we know it or not, he is
let,
the initiator.
let me finish my sentence.
Sorry. Yeah.
Um, what I would say is make sure when you say that your relationship with Prabhupada is through what you read, you better do due diligence in finding books that have not been changed so you really understand who he was. And some of the books claim not to have made changes, but they have made changes. So finding the actual original scriptures is not easy, but
you know,
do that.
when I visited Alachua Temple a few years ago, just to see what was going on. They had a law that Srila Prabhupada's original books could not be distributed. That was their policy.
Yeah. See, I mean, you keep on saying their policy and their what I'm trying to clearly distinguish.
But it's, but the people are following.
Yeah.
You say they're innocent, but Srila Prabhupada says if something is wrong and you don't speak up, you're as guilty as the people who are doing the wrong.
Yeah.
He says that.
Yeah.
Now, another point is I looked online and it says that today on this planet, there are some 4,000 Christian organizations, each one thinking they have the right formula. So that each one has made their own change.
Yeah.
And this is why Srila Prabhupada said not to change anything, because that means in only 1 or 2 generations, in 40 years or so, already there are this many changes. If changes are allowed, Krishna consciousness will become something totally different. I have seen advertisements online where ISKCON is giving seminars in how to be successful in business based on Bhagavad Gita. I've seen that. And then, so when we start having changes, it's the beginning of the end. And that's why Srila Prabhupada didn't want any.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not qualified to answer your the points that you're making. I'm just terribly frightened that and to see one of my godbrothers sitting on a Vyasasan and accepting worship when they have no right to do that. It means that they're taking what's due to Srila Prabhupada because they want it for themselves. To have anything to do with an organization that allows such a thing, that supports such a thing, such an insult to Krishna's pure devotee. It's just, to me, it's it's inconceivable to me that that to have anything to do with such an organization. How could they dare? How could they dare to presume to take such a position like that? That that I am. Who am I? Can I give somebody initiation? Can I give some? Can I save somebody? If they make a heart-to-heart connection with me, can I take them to Krishna Loka? This is what the Diksha Guru is supposed to. It's a complete scam. It's phishing. It's promising something that they cannot deliver. That's why it's not every one of us is supposed to be Siksha Guru to repeat the philosophy, but we have no capacity to liberate those who are following us because we're not liberated ourselves. It's a scam. They're promising something. You come and be surrendered to me, become my devotee, and I'll take you to Krishna. They can't take anyone to Krishna. They don't know Krishna.
Okay, can I ask you this question then, just to make it a little bit clearer, maybe for everybody and myself, to really get to the heart of the point? Okay, so when people come and they join ISKCON, the organization we're talking about is ISKCON, what is Srila Prabhupada doing? Is he just sitting aloof and not interacting and just saying, well, you guys go to hell, I don't care? Or is he actively having any kind of relationship with any members of that society?
If Srila Prabhupada sees that you're following people who are insulting me, he may forgive them, but Krishna will not.
But if he forgives, Krishna forgives.
No, Krishna, there are examples in the literature where devotees are willing, and Srila Prabhupada makes the point in different places in the books, that the devotee might forgive, but if we insult Krishna's devotee, Krishna will never forgive. Krishna comes to kill people like that. That was the battle of Kurukshetra. He won't tolerate it. He's sending his most beloved, pure devotee.
Sorry. When you say won't forgive, are you talking about he won't, if Prabhupada forgives the member or the person who's taken so-called guru position, or both?
The person who's taking the guru position is an offender, and the person who's following him has no brain. He's
Yeah.
not.
So what does Prabhupada do with those who have no brain? That's my question.
Srila Prabhupada explains that the ability to recognize the real guru is given by Krishna himself, and to those who are not sincere, he enables them to be attracted to someone else.
Okay, still though, you're not answering my question, please.
No, that's
Yeah.
the answer.
Oh,
They,
my question is,
they
what
are
does Prabhupada,
not sincere.
okay,
Those follow
what,
such people don't really want to know Krishna yet.
okay,
They
what
may
does Prabhupada do with those members? How does he interact with them or not at all?
does he interact there? He's waiting for them to approach him. If they approach him, they have to drop their baggage. They have to drop their dirt and turn their back on ISKCON and walk away.
So aren't they approaching him when they chant his mantra, they guru worship in the morning, chant japa because he says so, do Didi worship because he says so,
Yeah.
chant 16
And if
rounds
you
because he
read the
says so?
Bible, you'll see where Jesus says, I've done this in your name, I've done that in your name, I've cured people in your name, I've done good works in your name. And Jesus says, I never knew you. Why does he say that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know, because they're not really, they don't really have a personal relationship with with Jesus. That's why he says that. And one who has a personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada will be absolutely repulsed by these people. One who has a personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada, who loves Srila Prabhupada, and see when Srila Prabhupada said, "I am the Diksha Guru," and sees one who sees that other people are taking this position, they won't want to be under the same roof. They won't want to be under the same umbrella. They won't want to see the faces of these such people. And what to speak of taking food that they offer to supposedly are offering to God, that Krishna will never accept their offerings. Never. There's everything is going on in the name of religion all over the planet. The crusades of the Muslims against the Christians, killing millions of Muslims, that was in the name of Jesus. And the Muslims tried to destroy all the Vaishnav temples in India. That was in the name, that was in the name of Muhammad and Allah, and the ISKCON gurus trying to falsely take the position. This is in the name of Krishna and in the name of Lord Chaitanya, and it's on the same level as the Crusades. It's on the same levels. Everything is being done in the name of, but it's not really representing. It has nothing to do with Lord Chaitanya's movement. It's an insult to Lord Chaitanya's movement.
Well, I can tell you that from me, there's one example here who came through that, went through those doors and was in that organization. And Srila Prabhupada very actively interacted with me, sheltered me, had a relationship with me, and continued to have a relationship with me. And I'm sure there are thousands and thousands, maybe millions like me also at different stages right now, because at certain point, Krishna allowed me to see that that wasn't my guru, and Srila Prabhupada was my guru. But
that institution supports these gurus. It's evil.
That's a whole big area, because I can say to you honestly, you know, for the first 4 years or 5 years in my time within ISKCON, within that what you are calling evil institution, I didn't hear or think or feel one evil thing. Everything just seemed so natural, so flowing, so normal. Yeah,
Yes,
Prabhupada's
but
not here.
you know that it's wrong.
Yeah, now I know. And as
Yeah,
I know, I had the strength because of that conviction to sort of, well, okay, I rather lose everything as in the support of the institution and be outside and represent the truth as I know it. But there are lots of people who are not on that platform yet, who don't have that vision yet.
my point is that how could one of us, you or me, and we're no different from the ISKCON GBC, and we're no different from the so-called gurus in ISKCON. How could one of us, and when Srila Prabhupada is so elevated, so pristine, is so empowered, dare to take his position? And who would want to associate with such people? It's not that they're making, we say, I think you're saying, well, they're making a mistake or but if
No,
we
I'm
know
not
that
saying.
it's wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely they knew. Some of them, not all of them. Definitely not all of them. I know that myself. But
And
some of
when
them,
out of the first 11, 10 of them stayed in that position, and one of them spoke against it, and they excommunicated him. They put him out of ISKCON.
yes.
They passed a resolution that he cannot make kirtan in ISKCON in any temple, and he cannot speak in any temple because we are the gurus and we represent Srila Prabhupada. And all he was doing was saying, no, you're not representing, because Srila Prabhupada never told us to be gurus. And
Yeah,
they threw him out.
yes.
They're demonic. It's demonic.
Yeah, yeah, they have demoniac tendencies like all of us, and
No,
unfortunately,
but But how can people, if they're the leaders and they're following the flock, if they have demoniac tendencies, what will become of the flock? Why
Yeah,
would anyone want to follow or associate with such people?
I can tell you why. Because a lot of them are under the illusion that this is what Prabhupada wants.
Yes, but just like yourself, you can understand some Krishna, because of your level of sincerity. Krishna has given you the ability to understand that this is not what Krishna wants. Those who can't see it yet, it's because they're not sincere. They don't really want the truth. As soon as they want the truth, Krishna will show them.
But also the way they're changing the books is to make those poor innocent new people believe that this is what Prabhupada taught.
It's not that the books, most of the philosophy in the books is intact, but the fact is that Krishna said not to change anything.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
When,
really, my question is, in all of this, there are many elements to this. And one huge, the biggest element is Prabhupada is sitting there. And there are these, let's call them sheep or stupid members or new members or baby members or whatever. So the real focus and question I is, what's Prabhupada doing in his relationship with these people that read his books, get inspired by him, want to follow him, want to serve him, want to please him? That is a full-on clear relationship there, and there is interaction and there is a relationship. Even though some other fool may say, no, no, I'm actually your guru, they can say and think what they want.
why would one want to associate with them?
Because they don't have yet, they haven't, it's like a baby. They
No,
haven't.
I mean, why would they want to associate with those leaders?
Yeah, I'm saying to you that those who can't distinguish between needing to reject that association and associate with them are still, let's say, babies, and are not. When maturity comes, then you have the strength, because it's a really big, huge step to push away ISKCON and say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice the association or whatever I get from you and support that I get from you to side with the truth, which is pretty much you're alone, to side with the truth being Prabhupada as the Diksha Guru. And many of them realize that and they know that, and they have other reasons to stay within ISKCON, that, okay, I know the truth, but I can't change it unless I'm in it. Or so many, I mean, there are so many different reasons for people staying in. I mean, I've got lots of people that are saying to me, if I leave or if I take up the Ridvik position, they will kick me out. I know that. They will block me. Then where will be my association? What will be my service? All my service is connected to the temple. So,
Understand and disconnect because I need you.
I'm receiving. I think that Yashodananda could probably say things that I'm not elevated enough or intelligent enough to put forward.
it's okay.
It's just that I see these people. These are my god brothers, most of them.
Yeah,
They're just people like you and me. They're just people like you and me. They may have a little leadership ability or a little charisma, by virtue of how they came into life in this particular lifetime, and people are, most people are followers, and that's what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, that whatever standards are set by those who are natural leaders, all of the public will follow their example. That's most of us are followers, and these people are instituting things that are different.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Ishan Prabhu, clearly, fully, just so you're clear with me, everything you say about those who are trying to hijack Prabhupada's position, I fully agree with you there. right? But I'm just talking about the thousands or maybe millions now of sheep that are members, and some, a lot of them actually are very sincere, doing a lot of service, and all the service they're doing more or less coming from Prabhupada. Most of the reading, 80%, 90% of the reading hearing is from Prabhupada. So then the question there is, what is Srila Prabhupada doing in his relationship with these people, the sheep, not the shepherds, not the false shepherds? And I clearly see, directly I see that Prabhupada is having a relationship with them and is guiding them and is protecting them, while simultaneously they're having these so-called false shepherds. Because the false shepherds have a desire to be a shepherd, so Krishna and Prabhupada facilitating that also simultaneously.
Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada, my wife wants to say.
So he's asking you to address what would these people do? This is their community and their family, and they have a lot of reasons to stay in ISKCON. The same thing happened with me.
So Jesus says in the Bible, I didn't come to put families together. I came to tear them apart. Because we have a chance to leave this material world, and we have to make a choice what kind of friendship and what kind of association, etc., etc. Another man came to Jesus and said, uh, um, he was a very socially established person, and Jesus said, he said, what can I do? I'm doing so many good things. And Jesus said, well, you just you give all that up and follow me. And the man went away brokenhearted because he couldn't. Well, most people can't, but we're being offered an opportunity, and we have to make a choice. And if they're not ready to make that choice, then they can stay here in the material world. You know. But I think I have to. I really think you should be speaking with Yashoda, because I feel that
I already did. I mean, that's one camp that I know has the same mood. Vishwakarma Prabhu and Yashodanandam Prabhu. Like, don't go to ISKCON, stay away from them. They're whatever.
because basically, for the most part, I don't talk about this issue.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a living relationship with the one who can save us, who's our real savior. And that applies to everyone. And that I feel 100%. And that's not being taught in the Prabhupada Nuga camps. I'd hear them saying things like that if you accept what Srila Prabhupada sarcastically refers to as the formula, then and do all the do's and don't do all the don'ts, that one day you'll receive a blessing. And that's what is my main under thrust. That's my main concern, that people should understand that we need to have a personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada, and that's not being taught in what we call Prabhupada. That is what Prabhupada Anuga really means, is to follow the love for Krishna that Srila Prabhupada carries in his heart, and to imbibe the taste of that devotion. That means to be a Anuga. That's the real meaning of it. But they don't even know that. For most of them, it's just a membership, a sense of loyalty to Srila Prabhupada, but they don't even know how to relate to him as a spiritual master yet. That's what I want. If people want to, myself, I want nothing to do with these people who are not who are changing books, who are changing the guru process, who are changing deity worship process. I have no desire to have any connection with them whatsoever. But that if other people want to do that, I can't understand why they would. But I'm talking about a relationship with the real person who can save us, not because they're wearing a badge or a pin or a membership, but this association, that association. And if they do so, my conviction is that they won't want to have anything to do with an association like ISKCON, because ISKCON is an insult, to, an offense to Srila Prabhupada. When they are more sincere, I believe they'll recognize that. They're not just misguided. Their intelligence is given by Krishna according to their individual sincerity. They're like Christians who are going to church on Sunday and feeling very good about it, but Jesus will say, I never knew you. So we have the same thing. Krishna consciousness is becoming a highly established church all over the world, and these are people who are going on Sunday, and they're satisfied with that. So they'll have that. Krishna will let them have that. But that's not what I really want to speak about so much. It came up. I should.
No, I mean, fundamentally, what we are talking about even now is what you are talking about every week, which is a relationship. Diksha is relationships, not a 2-hour fire yagya. It's not someone who comes once a year and says a few words and you see his face and you wash his feet. So
It's like I have a relationship with my wife, right? And I really feel very supportive of her. And I really am careful to protect her. And somebody wants to take her position. And how would I want to be a member of an organization of such people who want to usurp her position? I feel antagonistic towards them. How dare they?
Okay, let me add to that then. So if you have a woman come to your house and she's helping your wife and serving and seemingly saying, I'm saying this seemingly, saying that and acting like I'm going to help you develop your relationship with your wife and your wife develop her relationship with you even more. So this is where the majority of ISKCON members, sheep, let's say, I'm not calling them sheep as a bad word, just that they're innocent, they don't know, just coming in. So they feel and they've taught and they're seeing and they're thinking that these senior devotees, which is their natural position actually, are helping them to serve Prabhupada more and to connect to Prabhupada more. That's the vision of the members of ISKCON. They're not at all. They don't have the vision that me and you have, not at all.
I know, but but when we understand that these people are outlaws in the sense,
Yes.
why would we want to associate? So if they don't see that these people are outlaws, that our Srila Prabhupada writes that people follow all kinds of organizations. That's why this is called pure devotional service. And then there's all these other Kaitava Dharma, cheating religions. They, almost all of the Vedic literatures is for worship of demigods or develop mystic powers or this or that or this or that or go to the higher planets and we have nothing to do with that. Srila Prabhupada smashes all of it. It's all, and yet they're all saying they're following the Vedas. So if they can't understand, but Srila Prabhupada says, but as soon as they want to worship a certain demigod, Krishna makes their faith very strong.
Yes.
In other words, their faith is according to the sincerity and inclination of their heart. The real follower will see the thing for what it is. And it's not Krishna consciousness the way Srila Prabhupada wanted it delivered.
Yeah.
A real sincere, but their faith is there because that's their level. and there will be there are many different, there are already a handful of ISKCON group, not ISKCON, a handful of Krishna conscious groups. There are those following that other man, I forget his name, who said that Hridyananda. I was shoulder to shoulder with Hridyananda when he joined the temple in Boston. He's a very, enthusiastic kind of excited kind of guy. But he's my god brother. But he's taking the Srila Prabhupada's position. Therefore, I don't want to see his face. That what I'm trying to say is that you know what I'm trying to say is that Krishna makes people's heart, makes their faith strong according to their sincerity to know him. Those who really want to know Krishna will be able to see that ISKCON is off the track. And if they're not, if they're happy to have nice feeling that we're all one family and we're all devotees together and etc. And it's very nice to meet together at the temple, and it's very nice to take prasadam together, and it's very nice to chant Hare Krishna together. And this is this is what I want, and I feel that my life is on track. Even though we know what the even though are, then Krishna will give them that kind of feeling and faith that they're doing the right thing. But a person who, because Srila Prabhupada explains that according to a person's sincerity, Krishna gives them the faith. And so you can tell by the way that people are behaving and what they're aligning themselves with, their actual level of sincerity. And they all do it, all of the GBC, they're not thinking, oh, I'm going against Srila Prabhupada. They really believe they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And people who are following them are believing they're doing the right thing. And they all, and this faith is given to them by Krishna, because Krishna knows what they want. And they're having what they want, but they can't have Krishna.
Okay. As I have you, and you're a very wonderful, sincere, elevated.
I'm a fool. I'm a fool. Otherwise, I'd be able to give you a satisfactory answer.
Well, you gave me the answer that you have. Can I want to ask you one point. I haven't asked this to anybody actually ever before. It's quite a big question. Is in both what Prabhupada wrote and said, and then also your own personal feelings, is what did Prabhupada say in the way of leaving ISKCON? Because the picture I have up until now of everything I've read and heard is Prabhupada was fundamentally, doesn't matter what happens, stay in ISKCON, find a way to solve your issues together, but stay together, united, cooperate, and push this mission forward. So another wall that we seem to be trapped in, a lot of people seem to be trapped in, is, well, I can't leave ISKCON because Prabhupada said never leave, so I've got to find a way to stay in it and do whatever I need to do within it. So
okay, there's a discrimination to be made. I believe there is. I can't talk like a supreme authority because I'm not, but there's a discrimination to be made in terms of devotees getting on with other devotees, being envious of each other, finding fault with each other, disagreeing with each other. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to work together and stay together. Yes, that exists. Srila Prabhupada told me the same thing personally. We should all live together and work together. But also, on the other hand, it's in Srila Prabhupada's books where he writes, there are many envious people within ISKCON, and you do not have to associate with them. One should not associate with them. Now, the whole of ISKCON has taken, or the leadership at the helm of ISKCON, those who are driving the whole wagon, have taken an offensive and envious position of Srila Prabhupada by disregarding his instructions. So then that's different from having a personal disagreements on a personal level. But when it comes to putting Srila Prabhupada aside and making our own changes and they're saying we have found where Srila Prabhupada has made mistakes and we're correcting them. It's in there. I've seen letters like that of explanation from the people on the press where they've changed the way Srila Prabhupada writes the disciplic succession. What is his name? It begins with a D. I forget. He's Jaya Advaita's right-hand man. Dravida. So Dravida says, well, Srila Prabhupada wrote this about the disciplic succession in Chaitanya Charita, but we have our understanding of so we've decided to make this change. In other words, they're using their own, or Srila Prabhupada writes in different places, and I have the quotes online on my computer, that when, or about the idea that you need a living guru, they say, we have done research and we have, so Srila Prabhupada is wrong in what he writes, and Srila Prabhupada is wrong in saying that he's the Diksha Guru. They're saying that's, and that's why Srila Prabhupada writes that, that the greatest mistake we can make is to consider Srila Prabhupada, quote, an ordinary human being. As Srila Prabhupada explains that the pure devotee who's Krishna's representative, he can make whatever changes he wants, and it's as good as if Krishna said it himself. And it cannot be, but ISKCON is an institution which thinks that Srila Prabhupada is wrong in different ways, and now we've corrected it. They don't know who Srila Prabhupada is. They think he's an ordinary human being. They don't know that he's to be worshipped on the same level that the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be worshipped without any questions whatsoever. They don't know that. And that lack of ability to recognize him is an expression of their envy of Krishna. This is my understanding of what Srila Prabhupada explains to us. Their inability to recognize Srila Prabhupada's supreme position is an expression of their envy of Krishna, and they're starting their own, and it will continue to change from generation to generation. Just like there are 4,000 Christian groups on the planet today, there will be hundreds or thousands of different, and this is and by the time Bhakti Vinod came on this planet, there were 13 groups, all Baal, Kartabajay, etc., and they were all deviant in one way or another, and he went to smash them. And this will happen again in ISKCON. And Srila Prabhupada, that's why he warned it, because he said that this is what had ruined the Gaudiya Math, was the desire for them, the individuals, to be guru. And they're still fighting in the courts today over who owns what temple. And it destroys the whole movement, and it will destroy. ISKCON will self-destruct. It will self-destruct because they all have this desire to be number one, and it's manifest in this form now. And they're already having their disagreements, which I'm not privilege to have the understanding. They're already fighting amongst themselves, and it will continue, and they'll divide again and again and again. I know that in my heart.
Okay, so Ishan Prabhu, what
Yes,
did Prabhupada directly say about leaving ISKCON? Leaving his ISKCON more specifically.
what?
It wasn't an issue then.
Yeah, it wasn't an issue at the point. He just said it will self-destroy if they try to do this guru thing, just like it had destroyed the Gaudiya math. That's what he said.
Yeah. No, my question is more as to actually,
No, but I can't. I
did
can't.
Prabhupada give us any idea
I,
when we
if you
plan?
want, if you have a feeling to associate with these people, which is a way of supporting what they're doing, I can't say anything to you.
Well, that's your view. That's not my view. I don't accept that, of course.
That's okay. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. When something's wrong and you don't speak up, you're as guilty as the people who are doing it.
Okay.
That's what Srila Prabhupada says. You associate with these wrongdoers, you're as guilty as them. You're
I'd
supporting.
like to comment here, Ishan Prabhu, that during Srila Prabhupada's, no, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Vyasa Puja, Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, gave a Vyasa Puja address, a long one. And in that Vyasa Puja, Prabhupada addressed this point about accepting gurus and disciples right to his god brothers. It's I think it's in the Vashishtas, you know. So Prabhupada was always speaking out against this appointing of acharyas and gurus,
Right.
and he condemned that from the very beginning. I think it was 1963 or what is 44? Do you remember that?
No, I'm not highly knowledgeable in these ways, but I have my convictions. That's why I say to really talk about this issue, which I haven't studied all the arguments and counter arguments. I just know that these people have made many changes, and that they're not representing Srila Prabhupada. And he says that those who can't see what is wrong and those who see those wrong and don't speak against it are as guilty as those who are doing the wrong, and that those who cannot recognize the reality of the situation is because they lack sincerity, and Krishna makes their faith strong to follow these imposters. That's the only thing I know, and I believe it's true. I have to take your leave at this point.
Okay.
And I feel like you're very sincere and your heart is very good, and but I'm not qualified to say much more than that. You know, in against it, I just can't feel to align myself with it.
No, it's
Not
okay.
only that,
I mean,
you know that
you're
the
preaching, you're preaching what I see is the most important thing, which is actually relationship. It's based on relationship. It will move on relationship. Everything depends on relationship. And
another just terrible thing is that all of these children are coming out of Gurukula in ISKCON, and still today they're being sexually abused, and the management is not doing anything about it to change it, but they're reinstating these people again and again. They're like the Roman Catholic Church turning a blind eye to these things. It's just another, you know.
No,
So
there are many people speaking up against it, but
yeah,
not so many leaders that are speaking against it. It's like medium and low people.
and those people who are speaking against it, some of them are being threatened
Yeah.
by the management. This is how corrupt they are.
Yeah. No,
In other words, they're not wanting the truth, they're just wanting their name and fame. and to preserve their false institution.
Yeah.
It's
It's not their institution, it's Prabhupada's, but their false position, yeah.
they've taken it over. They've taken it away from Srila Prabhupada. And now what they do is in the name of Srila Prabhupada, just like the Crusades are in the name of Jesus. And the destruction of Vaishnav temples is in the name of Mohammed. But it's not, they don't have the courage to start their own movement, but in the name of Srila Prabhupada and in the name of ISKCON, they carry on in this way, but it's not ISKCON anymore. I offer you my humble, respectful obeisances, and I have to disconnect at this moment.
Thank you so much, Ishan Prabhu. And Ramachandra Prabhu, thank you for joining us.
I joined at the right time. I've been here 43 minutes, so I heard the whole side story, this side and that side. So Ishan Prabhu is taking a hardline stance, and Balaram Prabhu is trying to present that, there might be some sincere people that are there that, if I go there, I might be able to help them. I don't think no one can help them. I've tried for close to 10 years presenting Prabhupada's quotes regarding management, regarding the incorporation of ISKCON. These people will never listen. It's very difficult for them to understand these things because they have they have some sort of subtle appreciation for them. So I agree with Ishan Prabhu and 100% that to come to a higher understanding, you must leave all that stuff behind and take direct shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So that's been my experience.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See you all next Tuesday.
Hare Krishna.
So, all glories to Prabhupada.
All glories to